I'm gonna start this thing. I'm gonna light this candle. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another Buster Wolf podcast. Today we're gonna be talking about anime fighting games and 2D fighting games and give our overall opinions on what we think about this genre. So my name is Renegade Operative, and my first guest is Kaneki.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Ren, when we're gonna play Heat the Soul 7 tournament?
I have not heard of that franchise, but you know what? I'd be all down for it in the future, no problem. Next, we have Burn.
Hello, and remember, don't fuck with us. We have the power of God and anime on our side.
Okay, I like that introduction. That's pretty funny. Next we have Justin.
Capcom, can we have a talk about that fucking crossover y'all botched? And just no, this ain't about them, but like we should have a talk, Capcom. You know, just saying. I just want to talk to them.
Which crossover is this?
Oh, that freaking one for Street Fighter recently.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, with the 2D other girl fighting Chun-Li. I've seen that. And it's just an avatar battle, so an avatar cosmetics.
Unfortunately, I would rather give them a pass on that than what they're doing with old games and mods. But go on.
Next up, we have Nero. Nero.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
It's good.
I think he's muted.
No, he's back. He's here.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have a good time with talking about. I'll probably be talking about Budokai more than anything, really.
Yep, that is two mainstay questions down in the document, so that's probably what we're going to talk about when we get to it. And Ronan, introduce yourself, good sir.
Hello there. I am Ronin Zero Warrior. And I'm new to this platform, so this is my first time in Ren's podcast, so I hope I do well.
That should be no problem, man. We just simply sit here, we talk about our favorite games, and we just illustrate what we are into the most. So it's pretty entertaining. But I'm going to start off the documents. I forgot about Andre. Andre,
yeah.
Introduce yourself.
No problem. No worries. Hey, my name is Andre B. Ben. This is gonna be a really fun one because I actually have a lot of experience with anime games going all the way back to like middle school. So yeah.
Same here, man.
Good job,
Total
Ren.
time.
Almost forgetting about Andre there.
His name kind of showed up invisible for me, but we'll go past that. Discord, I hate you.
Damn.
But we go with question number one here. This is the start of the document. So what is the appeal of 2D and anime fighters to you compared to other fighting games? What sticks to landing the most when it comes to sprite-based fighting? And the first person I'm going to call on is Kaneki. Give your opinion, good sir.
I'm thinking, well, to me, the appeal of 2D anime fighters is mostly when, not just, the fighting itself, but I look for more so the details of their animations and how they do their moves. And I think so far, I think it's like more detail if they were, if it was a 2D fighter or anime fighters in general. And you see how they pull off the move just by that little animation by animations. The details for them are pretty, exciting to, explore, especially if it's something like Dragon Ball Fighters and how they pulled off that game,
Yeah, I'm here. All right. My Discord was once again fucked up, but for that sentiment, I do agree. Where like sprite-based animations and 2D fighting games, they look really fucking good in motion, and just seeing like the spectacle of these games are like one of the most awesome feats about it. I think that like playing stuff like KOF and seeing those mechanics and going in there with like, rush down, rolling, doing certain things like dashing and going in, the mechanics are very deep. So
they recently, sorry to interrupt, but they also recently re-released KOF 13 on PlayStation and Switch.
Yeah, they have
so people can relive the 2D sprites, and for new generations.
if people want that,
Wait, really?
yeah, if people want that
Yeah.
global match, then they can play that for like Switch and PS4. But yeah, 2D based sprites and fighting is one of the more like flashier looking fighting games, and people say all flash no substance, but I never really believed that argument. I thought it was pretty bad because once again, you can play stuff like KOF, you can play stuff like some of the ArcSys games, not all of them, but some of them are pretty intricate in terms of mechanics.
If that argument was true, nobody would be playing any ArcSys game, not even Guilty Gear.
Yeah, the older
Blaze Blue.
Guilty Gears, Revelator,
Even a new one.
dude, those games are so fucking fire and mechanical that I was just in a match in Strive, and you know, even though I think Strive is a little bit like lesser than compared to the older Guilty Gears, I really did like those games for what they were, and I still get my ass kicked. So I mean, it's no joke playing some of those games, really. But Ronan, how about you? What do you feel about like 2D based sprite based fighting?
I think they're actually really, really fun and very glorious to watch because I'm a huge fan of both Dragon Ball Z Fighters and Blaze Blue, if you ever heard of that,
I have.
and Guilty Gear. So if I had to say anything, the 2D sprites ones are actually one of my personal favorites because they're already glorious to look at. They're already good to recycle to make other games like, Central Fiction, Chrono Plantasma, and trying to think of some other oh, I don't think you guys ever heard of the Dragon Ball game for the 3DS, Extreme Budoten, right?
I've never heard of that
I
one.
do. I have it
I
on my
have played
3DS.
that, actually, yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
old school, but I have heard of Ultimate Battle, all of those
I
games. Yeah.
literally bought it before Fighters was like even release
Yeah,
because
it
I
was
had
like
some extra cash.
yeah, it was like
Oh.
it was actually kind of like a beta test for fighters because they had the same animations and everything else, and they were like, "This is like our." I bet this was like where Arc System was going on with. He was like, "We're gonna use this 3DS game," and by the way, they made one for One Piece, but we don't talk about that. He says, "We're gonna make this, and we're gonna see if this idea can work." And we say, "Oh yes, let's make it a 3D fighter. I mean 2D fighter. I'm sorry." But yeah, the 3D sprites things is actually amazing to watch, especially with Blaze Blue.
Nero, do you have any opinions on this for 2D fighters?
Oh yeah, 2D anime fighters are pretty fun. I did play my fair share of KOF. Did play my fair share of Guilty Gear. Unfortunately, I didn't really get into Guilty Gear that much because I didn't really know how to play it that well, if I'm being honest. But KOF was like my introduction to like anime fighters because they literally had like most of the stuff that you see in like modern anime games. They paved the way for it. I mean, Guilty Gear paved the way for like bursts and like combo escapes in these anime fighters. And it and I like how Guilty Gear had like a 3D mechanic with like the weight system. Is like in like Virtual Fighter, Tekken, they would have like there's like I do like the weight system in those games, and it's pretty cool how they actually implemented it in a 2D fighter.
Justin, what about you? What do you think of this question?
I mean, you all took a lot of the words straight out of my mouth, but try and keep it simple. I mean, what mainly draws me to them simply is like merely the spectacle, like the animations, just all the crazy effects, and just how smooth it all looks, despite being sprite based in some cases. Like stuff like, I mean, I know it's a question later, but some of the complicated ass shit you can see someone pull off is something like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue. And then you just see all this flashing and shit all across your screen as like maybe like half your health bar just goes away and don't or the AI could just kick your ass again if you're playing SNK. I don't know. Freaking Geese Howard tossing you out the window for like the 10th time that day.
Uh,
But no, like Plain and simple, it's just a big draw, and especially if I don't know, they're just really fucking good. They're just really fun to play. That's all I can really say.
Oh no, that's fine. I think we all think the same thing. But Burn, what about you? It is your turn. How do you feel about the 2D sprite-based fighting for anime games?
So, going back to the original question about what is the appeal of 2D or anime fighters in general compared to other fighting games, I think we're all missing like the elephant in the room. We love anime, and being able to play the anime, just like fighting in the position of the specific character, it's also one of the main appeals that it has. Just like if you put someone playing something, I'm gonna just like go out on a limb here as an example. With, for example, in Mexico, you can put someone playing a Street Fighter and they will be like, yeah, okay, this might be fun and everything. But you put them playing Dragon Ball Fighters as Goku, they're like, oh, this is a thing. I think that's a great appeal about that. But also, as everyone has mentioned, just like the fact that so many of the things that you're actually able to do in anime fighters, just in general, and also, at least personally, I really enjoy the sprite work that many of the games end up having. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have seen, like, for example, the videos analyzing the model work for Dragon Ball Fighters, because even though the models look like 2D, they're actually done in 3D. But the shading, the camera work, and everything, it's what makes them look 2D. So it's a great way, I consider it aesthetically, that anime fighters can do. They can do so much in that way instead of just like doing a generic 3D model. Just like, I mean, not trying to dunk on like any other games, but like Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat, Taken, even King of Fighters, just like the fact that they can do so much aesthetically, I think that's a huge thing that 2D and anime fighters do have going for them, for sure.
And last but not least, Mr. Andre, what do you think about this?
The appeal of 2D fighters. Well, okay, so the reason I really like 2D anime fighters as well, a lot of things, but really the aesthetics and the character designs, like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue have some of the most original, I guess, unique character designs compared to something like Tekken or Mortal Kombat. Like, I mean, Guilty Gear, you got a character that literally has a shadow as a weapon, and along with that, I really like the flashy aesthetics, like with the super moves. That's what has always drew me to that, and oh yeah, and the style, like when I played Calamity Trigger years ago, the first BlazBlue game, that like blew my mind when it came to like 2D anime fighters. That's how I got like hooked into them. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that in order, even then, just the way they animate shit, and in the order of seeing like a 3D game do the same, I would imagine it's a lot more like difficult on both ends. One, you're doing some people do hand drawn sprites, and I imagine that takes like forever to do. I've seen like documentaries where people were like, oh, I'm making this beat 'em up, I gotta draw all these characters by hand, so that's the most difficult. And then just the amount of money it probably takes to get all this working as well. So I can see how it's a bit of a grind. But once again, if it all looks good, spectacular, that's all I really care about. So we're gonna move on to number two, and one of the common criticisms that people seem to have about anime fighters is two extremes. They either say these fighters are too easy with simple combos, one hit button moves, or they say they're way too complicated, too hard, your Guilty Gears. People do say these opinions. So do you agree with them or disagree? And can you find a happy middle ground with the anime fighting genre? We're gonna go with Ronan.
All right, I'm glad you answered this question, Ren, because I've been asked this question so many times since I'm a fighting game fan myself, and I like to say myself, I disagree. I say, excuse my language, a skill issue, in my opinion. I say skill issue. If you want to play, if they're too hard for you, why don't you just play on stylish mode? This is why I love Guilty Gear and BlazBlue more. If you want to play a traditional fighting game, play on technical. You want to do one hit combo, one button combos and shit? do play on stylish, because there are some characters you cannot play as that's like very very hard to learn. Like take for instance, has anyone played Naoto Kurogane from Blaze Blue Central Fiction?
I have not. Anyone else?
No, I feel you. That.
I tried out now till one time, like 10 minutes, and that's about it, unfortunately.
Okay. So what I had to say is, if you really want to learn a fighting game, there's a training mode and there's a tutorial mode. And if you do not want, if the game is too complicated for you, just play on stylish. No one's gonna judge you. I mean, the most expert players will, but I mean, who gives a crap about that? But still, if you really want to do like one button combo, just play on stylish. Besides, no one can be can do a one string playing as, I don't know, Rachel Alucard from Blaze Blue or Zato from Guilty Gear.
I think this is very interesting for several reasons. Me personally, if I were to say, I prefer that middle ground where the fighting makes sense and there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's not just restricted to one button combinations. I'm the person that prefers to go in the lab and learn as much as I can. But I do like that application of style in fighters where, you know, you're mostly doing those string combos together and you can nail them pretty easily. It's not really that hard. So once again, it's just everything else built around the game. It's like, all right, I'm going to do a sparking attack and do a various combo string, then grab, and then do like a special move. All of that starts to get a little bit complicated over time. So I don't like, I think what will really happen that will turn me off is if these games have comeback mechanics. I've never been a fan of comeback mechanics at all in fighting games, giving people like too many second chances and then they just come back and beat you. I feel like fair is square. It should just be you and the health bar, and whoever gets to the lowest loses. And that's how it should be. That being said, I don't mind. We talked about this when Street Fighter 6 was happening, when there were people complaining about modern controls. I don't mind there being a scheme for people if there is handicaps to it, like, well, you don't have access to all your buttons or all your special moves, so what are you going to do when you get in that situation? You have to learn a new control scheme, which I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have simplistic controls for the people that care about it, but also don't devalue the fighting of the game, which is honestly the most important, in my opinion. Nero, what do you think about this?
In terms of the simple and classic stuff, I feel like, yeah, the simple stuff that's been existing since games like Marvel and, well, Marvel superheroes and stuff like that, I think it's fine, but I feel like it shouldn't really be overhounding they shouldn't be overhounding the people who learned it the classic way. And for people who want to learn, there's like, I played Under Night in Birth. They had like tutorial for every character, their anti-airs, when to use their attacks and stuff like that. I feel like if more anime fighters had that, I feel like more people would get into anime fighters. But then again, not everybody's going to be into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's gonna be people that will be hard pressed to learn all of that shit, like, you know, all the air dashing, blocking, all the rolling, all that cool like technical stuff, and then there's gonna be people that's like, well, this is Greek to me. How do I figure it out? And once again, I think it does go back to basic training, but that's just my 2 cents on that. So Justin, it is your turn. What do you think about this? Anime fighters being too easy or too hard? Where will you find the middle ground?
Well, first things first. Yes, it's just straight facts that there's like, you know, the very simples and the very overcomplicated ones. That's not even a contest. I mean, look at something like the Dragon install for as one perfect example. Because I read that and I wondered to myself, how the fuck do y'all read this like it's a Bible? but then you have your simple ones like, oh, punch, 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 X. Hi, Buddha guy, how you doing? That's not with the first game in that regard.
Also, Melty Blood. That game is simple as fuck. And there's no knock to that game, but I'm sorry. It's very easy to learn. Shield, punch, kick, and then jump. That's literally it.
Hey,
But I mean,
you're
hey,
not gonna
there's-
be talking about Grand Blue like that.
Oh man, jeez.
But there's nothing wrong with it in hindsight. Someone's got to start somewhere.
I don't know, man. I don't like Melty Blood community starting tournaments in bathrooms or prison. I don't know, man.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that was a thing. It's like what the
That sounds very sus.
It's a joke.
I mean-
Relax.
I was about to say, man.
Unless
Unless it actually exists.
I think they did that with Under Night too. I played Under Night in the bathroom.
Well, yeah, because it's where those fighters. You could play easily on your laptop. It runs on potatoes fine.
Imagine that you're taking a golden piss and you're just playing a fighting game like on a urinal. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's that one freaking Yakuza side game just gone weird. It's fucking happening, boys. Let's go.
One string combos while taking the shitter.
Damn, I knew Evo fell hard, but that's quite a fucking fall, dude.
But Justin, any final thoughts on this question?
I would say, I mean, I feel like has there been a fighting game that actually has had like switchable fucking control schemes where you could switch to something simpler, like for the beginner kind of people, but then you switch to something normal, which is a lot more complex. I could be misremembering, but I feel like there was something that did that, or maybe it wasn't even a fighting game. It was a completely different kind of game that just had a similar concept.
I can answer that, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you. There is a stylish and a traditional control scheme, and the only games I know that does that are BlazBlue and Guilty Gear. They have one where you can play normal controls if you're good at fighting games. But if you just love to just mash buttons and just do one strings, just play
MVC3
stylish.
also has that. That's how it started with that game.
Well, shit.
Yep, simple mode. I do remember.
All right, well there we go. Just have an interchangeable mode like that. Although don't make it abusable so that your freaking 6-year-old cousin from Carolina could easily kick your ass, even though you've been practicing day in and day out or whatever
I'll
for
make
the next fucking local that you're trying to go to win that money match.
Don't make it like Persona 4 Arena the first time, where you mash square and you get a 50% combo.
Oof, that's
Ooh, the I win button.
Oh damn!
okay. So how I feel about that? I'm like, all right. If it came down to preference, I would simply say, look, give the simple mode people their own lobbies, and then if people want to play as classic, then they could be in their own lobbies. Of course, Street Fighter 6 is the one that sort of blended the two, and it seems to work out just fine, so it's not impossible for it to work, but I don't want to be getting 50-50 by someone just mashing like square and I can't do anything about it. That would infuriate me. So yeah, you could just break it down to lobbies and it's totally fine. You know what you signed up for. But Kaneki, any opinions on this whatsoever?
No, as long as it does something like Ultimate Marvel, Strive, or even Street Fighter 6, I don't have a problem. Like I said, just don't make it like Persona 4 Arena, the first edition.
Jeez, that sounds like the worst example. Goddamn.
I experienced it. That's why I'm telling you this.
He's getting Vietnam
The
flashbacks.
good old PS3 Persona days. Oh, you mash square, you win. Great.
Those are the worst. Oh god.
Andre, I guess it's your turn since you spoke up a little bit.
Sorry about that. You can find. I'll be honest. I think if anyone can get into fighting games, it's just you gotta sort of like just adapt to said game. I feel like simple controls won't really make you a better player. I'd say it's good for understanding the game better, but if you really want to learn it, then you gotta play without the simple controls. Because I think auto combos just really hinder your ability to get better at the game, but that's just really me.
Burn, what about you?
I'm gonna side with Ronin in this one because it is actually just like a skill issue of people just like not really understanding. Because I mean, let's be honest, simple combos or overcomplicated combos are not exclusive to 2D or anime fighters at all. Like Street Fighter has them, Mortal Kombat has them, Marvel vs. Capcom has them. Like all of those games have them. So it's just like a thing of learning it. But it's again just like people thinking that seeing those games and be just like, oh, it's way too flashy. So that means that I'm gonna require to break my fingers on my controller to be able to do this combo. No, you just press three buttons and you got it. But it's just that I'm pretty sure that it's partially a skill issue and also just like a precognition or just like a prejudgment that people have with anime games, saying just like, oh, that's gonna be like overly complicated. It's actually not. And if you think it's actually more complicated, there are a lot of games that, again, with Guilty Gear, Blast Blue, and many others, have options to actually just like ease the whole thing for you. You know, so it's like I'm pretty sure there's some middle ground. Street Fighter 6 has been able to find that kind of middle ground for now. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 actually got that middle ground too, where you can play normal, simple, advanced, etc., etc. There's not many issues with that. But it's just like people not really understanding. You can just like train and you get it. It's a lot of things in that case. So there definitely is a middle ground in that. But I think that's usually just like an issue with the communities, you know, with just like the people saying just like, no, I don't want to learn it. So then don't complain. That's a you issue.
Yep, you fight and adapt, and if you don't, you will lose. That's kind of how I see it as well. Which is why we were bringing up Virtua Fighter the other like couple of minutes
That
ago.
one hurts.
Yeah, that one pretty much hurts. It's like if you don't apply skill in that game, you're going to get completely destroyed. It's just one way or the other. But we're moving on to an interesting question, which is number 3. So how do you feel about licensed anime fighters based on manga properties? It could be Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho. Cite some underrated classics that have addicting gameplay and combat. And we'll start off with Ronin again.
Okay, first of all, I want to say this though. Can we finally? Okay, I just want to say this. Can we finally get a Bleach game that's not a mobile game? Finally, please, because I really want that as a fighter or a Muso. But still, yes, we should get more of those because most popular anime nowadays are not really well known to the public or to the West or like to us Americans. But yes, we would love. I would love for more games based off anime, like another Bleach. Like, does anyone remember Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament
I do.
and how brutally hard it was?
I don't want to remember it because it was so difficult. Dude, I remember I took like about 2 hours to fight Toguro, and I'm just like, why is he so tanky? Holy shit, man. But when I get to like my portion, I'm gonna like list off 2 other games that is interesting to play in that sort of universe, but continue.
There is I forget what the Bleach game was called back on the PS3. It was Soul Resonator or something like that, the Muso one. And I just really want myself another good Bleach game because me personally as a Bleach fan, I would love one or a hit. So far Hunter x Hunter is getting a game, and I'm saying, where's the love for Bleach at? What the hell?
Yeah,
But seriously though, I would love for more anime games.
yeah, it's wild, dude. It's like there is so much they can reap from that they have either released that has like a lot of potential, or they could just go back into the vault and say, hey, we could remaster something and put it out there and people will play it. Personally, in my opinion, look, I know we brought up Dark Tournament, but for love of God, if you don't have the patience of a Buddhist monk, please do not play that game because that game is hard as balls. I would recommend actually emulating the other games made by Dimps that they did with Yu Yu Hakusho, and I think the final one that they did, because they made like 2 of them. That is actually a really good fighting game. Has a lot of great mechanics. I haven't solved the fact that I don't know how to do Hiei's like Dark Dragon in that game, but when you actually figure out things and the special moves, it feels like probably one of the best Yu Yu Hakusho fighting games we'll ever get. That sadly not ever coming to the West.
Agreed.
There's also like a few other ones out there as well. I really enjoyed the JoJo fighting game for Dreamcast. I thought that was like just amazing playing it, going around and being like Jotaro and just punching people with my stand. That game is also so cool, as well as you know, Ultimate Ninja 3 was a very fascinating game. While I didn't play it for too long, I did think it felt like relevant to just having like pure fun, man. Playing as like Naruto, Sasuke, just, you know, beating people up, throwing ninja stuff, seeing people just morph into like logs and run around and just beat each other up. It's just so compelling, and it really translated well for a good 2D gameplay, which is kind of unfortunate that we didn't get another one of those in that same vein. And they sort of migrated over to Storm, which is fine. I like Storm too, but for different reasons. So that is all the ones I got so far off the top of my head. How about you, Nero? And he is in a coffin, I believe. Okay. Oh, he's back.
Oh, sorry, I was busy playing Def Jam.
That's fine.
I feel like there should be more. I feel like there should be more mainstream anime like Bleach, Naruto with a decent 2D fighter. It doesn't necessarily have to have the 3 versus 3 formula, although they do have games like Dragon Ball Fighters for that. I would like to see more 1v1 2D or even a 3D game with the depth of like Virtual Fighter. It'd be really interesting to see anime game with that kind of depth and those mechanics.
So how about you, Justin? Is there any shout outs or any anime games that you feel should come into the limelight as a fighting game? And I think Justin is also deceased. Okay. Kaneki, what about you on this question?
Which question? Number 3?
Yeah.
I don't mind it as long as it's, very common criticism that I have with Bamco. Maybe stop making Naruto Storm clones.
And stop making bad dubs, because my god. Where do I begin with that?
Like every popular anime comes out, it's like you want to make a Naruto Storm clone out of it. Like, even One Punch Man got that treatment. I'm like, why? One Punch Man does not work for a fighting game. I'm sorry, it does not.
We don't talk about the One Punch Man fighting game. We don't talk about that one, please.
Nor will I bring up Jump Force, but here we are.
Oh,
dear God, no.
Me.
You hurt my soul, man. God damn it.
Don't remind me. I tried to I made a sub series back on my YouTube when I did YouTube called Let's Fix It, and I literally almost
Go
it
ahead,
was
fix it.
nightmare inducing.
It's like you have such a wide range of characters, but the gameplay is like so slow, choppy, and ass. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with it.
You also made all the characters look ugly.
Yeah, the art style is far from impressive. It's very bad.
I'm still amazed that the Jump Ultimate Stars games from the Nintendo DS are actually way better than Jump Stars.
Oh man. Well, Burn, what do you think about this question as we bring up the worst examples? Holy shit.
Let's not bring worse examples anymore, because anime fighters based on license are just like amazing. I'm glad that you actually mentioned Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, because I remember having so many hours with that game, both that one and Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Me and my friends, we used to just like hours. I'm pretty sure that we had literal years put on in both of those games, because they were just like extremely fun. All the things that you could do, I mean, consider this: we were just like 7, 8 years old, maybe 9 at most, and we didn't have any issue with the fighting style, with the combos. We knew how to do the things. We knew how to do the combinations. They were really fun, and I think those are some of like the really great examples. Bleach also, I remember playing a lot of the Nintendo DS games that released years ago. Those are extremely fun. They are actually extremely fun. Um, and I'm pretty sure that using licenses for anime fighting games are actually just like a huge use. Like it's a lot of potential that you can do. Because there's a lot of animes, recent ones that can also might work with that kind of thing. I mean, we've seen the recent search with the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game, which is just like a remaster of the PS3 one. And even then, they actually updated it. They started adding new characters and all that. So that shows that it's still a franchise that can do a lot. Same thing with the old Dreamcast or PS1 or arcade version of the JoJo's game, which is only based on Part 3. That game is so much fun. I cannot believe how much fun it is. And right now that they are announcing a new Hunter x Hunter game, I'm just like crossing my fingers, hoping that it's actually just like a decent 3v3 tag fighting game, just like Marvel, just like Dragon Ball Fighters, just like the upcoming Project L by Riot. There's a lot of things that can be done with licenses of anime. And I think that just falling back into Naruto, One Piece, and even Bleach is not using them correctly. There are so many ones that could be used. Imagine a decent, extremely decent Baki fighting game.
Ooh, I would cap for that. That'd be amazing, dude.
Exactly.
Me too.
There's a lot of possibilities
You can do a lot with Baki as a fighting game.
Or
with
Fist of the North
Baki.
Star.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star really needs a newer game, definitely. Not Jujutsu Kaisen, I think also has a lot of potential. I've been thinking if maybe something more recent, also just like Chainsaw Man, will be capable of doing a fighting game. Although that might be a little bit hard to work it out, but there's a lot of newer licenses to get some potential that there need to be done, and they're just like falling game back into the same ones, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, even JoJo's. I like it, but it's going the safe route when they could be experimenting with something new and maybe bringing up the new thing, that maybe the new meta or something. But definitely there are some nice jewels out there. Also,
Bro.
huge shout out to the Soul Eater PlayStation 2 fighting game, because that one is actually extremely fun too.
For all the Sims picking Makima in a freaking eventual Chainsaw Man fighting game, just imagine.
Oh wait, is that the? Hold on. So hopefully I'm not mistaken by this, but is that the chick with the horns on her head, or?
No,
that's
Power.
Power.
Okay.
Okay,
Power
or
Man.
Power, yeah, right. I almost forgot.
I saw people simping over Power as well, so I think it's gonna
Makima
be
is
her
mommy.
too. Yeah, it's gonna be the War of the Titans between her and Power.
Why Power? She doesn't shower.
Oh
I
my
believe.
god!
Wait,
you think
wait.
you think the norms know that?
I believe in Kobeni supremacy.
Oh my
You
god!
think the norms care about Power shower? I mean, not shower.
I don't know. They probably eat her feet like drill bit, but he's not here at the moment. So
Jesus Christ.
Probably.
But-
That's actually a safe bet.
yeah, but Justin,
Oh, Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Man, what's the matter with you?
I know I'm deranged, but Justin, it's your turn. How do you feel about this question?
Well, I didn't know some of these animes even had fighting games, although that's just because I'm partially an uncultured swine in some cases. But it's how I've gotten into some animes. Like, one big example is I remember getting into Naruto because of all fucking games. It's not like Ninja Storm or anything else. It was Clash of Ninja 2 on the GameCube.
A man of culture.
I love that game.
That's a like it may go up only to like the end of shooting exams, but there was But for its time, there was so much to do, like all these fucking characters to pick from, and it's like all these cool moves to do. As simple as it was, but I remember getting into Naruto because of that game. And while Naruto is its own beast in several cases, and I don't like talking about the sequel series.
We don't, bruh. We don't, pal. Trust me. We all hate it.
Don't talk about Boruto.
Oh,
We don't speak of
I
failures.
don't regret all the time I spent in
Failure.
when did Stephen he get in the call? And there was not only that, but also, I mean, mainly the first Budokai. I know more people have better memories with the sequels because they improved the gameplay and the roster. But you still can't discount the good things the first Budokai ever did. Like, it had one of the better presentations of the story, though. You gotta give that. And if you were lucky enough to own the GameCube version, you had that real nice cell shading.
And it's a really kick-ass soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that too. I mean, the whole everything else with it aside, as just actual music, it is some of the best ear candy on any side of the spectrum in terms of fighting game soundtracks.
Seriously, Move Forward Fearlessly will always be my all-time favorite track in Budokai. And that one track with Vegeta, where you play as Super Vegeta.
Oh, dude, that just brings back like so many memories. Like,
You can't discount challengers though.
Oh no, never. I remember just hearing that and just that was like the glorified Goku versus Frieza to me. Every time I see Goku versus Frieza, I just think of that sound, that track.
Or even just some of the cutscene music, like Hero's Desperation.
Bro, man, that still gives me chills.
Oh, that's how you know you're an OG.
dude, that music in Budokai is just so friggin' unmatched, man. Just every time, it's so undervalued too. Holy shit!
Bro, damn.
It's just like every time you hear Sean Schimmel scream, "It's over, Frieza!" It just gives you It just gives you hype moments.
Yeah, I destroyed a planet like maybe once or twice doing that. It's like everything's just fine, even though the whole environment explodes around you. It's like holy shit. The destructive finishes in those games are just so incredible, dude. It makes you feel like a badass.
But in general, like, I just like the prospect of anime fighters, like with all these licensed games. Obviously, not all of them are winners. Well, when they are, they can actually help someone get into an anime. Like, I can't even imagine how many people got into several properties because they played a freaking video game based off of it, fighting game or not.
I'll be brutally honest.
I'll
be brutally honest. I never heard of Saint Seiya until I played J Stars. I never heard of Saint Seiya. I've heard of Hitman. I've heard of Hitman Reborn, Medaka Box, and D Gray Man, but I never heard of Saint Seiya. And I remember, wait,
What about
this is
that?
old school?
What about that classroom assassination anime with the octopus?
I already knew about that already.
Damn it! All right.
He just pondered his knowledge right
Push
there.
me.
And I'm just thinking, like, Saint Seiya is an old school anime from the 80s or like 80s or 90s. I'm like, wow, I gotta watch this. Watch it then. I became a Saint Seiya fan.
Latinos will welcome you with open arms as they are a fan of that show.
Thank you.
And of Dragon Ball. Don't forget about Dragon Ball. It's part of our culture.
Oh, at the time they treated Goku versus Jiren as like an actual MMA fight with ads all over the fucking place.
What the hell?
Downtown.
I'm gonna go on a little bit of a just like a side note in here to tell a little bit of a story. You guys remember how hyped people were when the Goku versus Jiren fight was going on?
Yeah.
In my city, in one of the public parks, they actually organized and they were airing the whole fight live there in the park. Like it was something organized by the government of the city. And you know how packed that place was? I'm pretty
Holy
sure like
shit.
3/4 of the city was looking at the fight right in there. I know it. I was there. I was part of the 3/4.
I bet the
So-
whole city was screaming in like joyful fans.
I'm gonna be honest. We were starting looking at the episode, me and some friends, and it was so fun and everything. But we were like, maybe we should go to the house of one of us and just like check the episode on the comfort of our houses or something like that. I could still hear the sound of the park, the people just like getting so excited from like the other side of town. Like it was crazy. You can believe it. I cannot make this shit up.
Man, that would be the fever dream right there.
Oh, that's fun.
Mexico, it's a fever dream itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where it happened because that was on the news, right?
Yeah.
There
That
you
was on
go.
the news?
Wait,
Yeah.
seriously?
If you give me 5 minutes, I think I can actually look the whole article for you and give it to you. Just like give me 5 minutes.
All right,
I look forward to that.
Name me one government that ever does that to their people, like streamed the final like episode of the Dragon Ball Super.
Wait, 5 minutes, but Namek will have blown up by then.
No, Jesus, I knew you were gonna say that too. God damn it. Oh,
Good one.
I have to throw in just one little request. You can make some of them mecha fighting games, more of them. I need more Gundam fighting games, like just completely 2D, so I could be beating the shit out of people with my Gundam Zero and enjoying it. It's gonna
Right,
be.
let me tell you why
Gundam
Gundam.
fight.
Let me tell you why Gundam versus Transformers needs to be a thing. Okay.
Bruh, okay, I would.
Yes.
That's getting bought day
Yes.
one. If that happens,
Right.
holy shit, that'd be hype.
A1
I would be
by
sitting in my car if I had to buy that.
Yo, freaking like American mecha fans, Japanese mecha fans, they're just like the freaking meme with the two freaking burly dudes just doing the handshake.
Optimus Prime versus God Gundam. They would be the hype as shit.
I will turn into Voltron and literally buy that game like day one. Holy shit.
Voltron could be the guest character.
Yeah,
Oh, that would be sick.
that'd be
That
sick
would be
though.
sick.
So Andre, how do you feel about this question? Do you have any underrated sort of anime fighters you want to bring up, or any suggestions whatsoever as to what they should do in the future for more licenses?
More licenses. From like anime fighters, like I was a big I really loved the Storm games. Like that was just, I think to me when it came to like presentation and boss fights and just general gameplay, it felt like an evolution of the Ultimate Ninja games. And I think another thing too is honestly, I want to say Storm kind of essentially maybe kickstarted this like mini little evolution of fighting games having like more like better story modes. That can like how like MK versus DC kind of started that. I am like diverging a bit, and then I went to MK9, and then eventually like Guilty Gear ended up getting like full on anime, like Blaze Blue. But Blaze Blue is kind of more of a visual novel, but you get what I mean. I kind of like that. And as for underrated classics, I have no idea, to be honest. Clue.
All I want is them to fucking bring back, I don't know, just bring back. There's one cool Double Dragon like fighter that was on the PS1, and they actually made that game 2D. So I was just like, you know what, you guys have a lot of gang members in here, you can just sort of put that in there and make it like 2D fighter again. So that'd be pretty cool. Plus, I think Arxis makes a bit of the Double Dragon game, so like put 2 and 2 together, why not? But we're gonna move on to the next question. It is a follow-up question to the licensed anime fighters. And it's like, how do you feel about the anime arena brawlers? This is like the 3D brawlers, like your Jump Force, Jump Force. You have your ultimate like Storm games where you play that, and that was pretty like cool for the time. And there's a couple more coming in the same vein. I know someone said that they're doing a lot of them, but what do you think of the formula entirely? And I'm gonna go with Kaneki first.
Oh, I could definitely tell you. I'm gonna repeat what I said earlier. Stop making a lot of Naruto Storm clones, okay? Y'all are not original when you do that shit all the time. And I'm afraid, unfortunately, what they're gonna do with Hunter x Hunter is exactly, 3v3 Storm clone. It's like, it's inevitable at this point, and I don't like it.
What about
I
you?
used to.
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I used to like that concept, but then ever since, Storm became like the essence of, oh, let's make 3D anime fighters just like Naruto. I'm sick of it already.
What about you, Ronan?
I will say this though, and I'm going to repeat myself once more time in every podcast I've been in. If you're going to do arena fighters, let Arc System Works do them. Not Arc System, CyberConnect 2. Let CyberConnect 2 work on really good anime fighters. Because after what they did to Naruto Storm and Ulcer's Wrath and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they know what they're doing when it comes to story cinematics. And I really, really say this: do not let your anime arena fighter go to Spike, because Spike is responsible for Jump Force.
I knew that was...
Sorry, I cringe every time I hear that name.
Oh god. Well,
at least that game won't last forever because I got everything in that game before they took it off store.
well, yeah, that is true. It got delisted. I forgot about that.
So anyway, let either CyberConnect 2 to do your really good boss fights, cinematics, and gameplay, or just don't do them at all. Like, I had to agree with Kaneki on this one. Do not stop making clones of the Storm games. Please, let's not. Just stick to, if you're gonna make up a fighter, just give it to CyberConnect 2. If you're gonna give an anime, you're gonna do a 2D fighter, give it to Arc System Works. They know how to do really good 2D fighters.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep my answer brief, but I'm gonna also agree. I think what they should do is, if you're gonna do something like this, you have to make it unique. People are tired of the same Storm clones over and over again, because at that point it feels like you're just paying for the same game with some of the same sort of set paths and scenarios, just under the guise of a different anime license, and that's kind of lazy. So one thing I definitely agree with is those need to go. And then if you're going to put them in the right hands, you should give them to other people like CyberConnect 2, because I mean, I played Ashura's Wrath and that game was fire, just infinite fire, quad fire. So if you're going to make combat look to that scale and awesome, and you can say, oh, it's just a little simple game, but it looks amazing. So I think that's what we need in terms of quality going forward, them looking cool, them feeling different, and overall them doing something unique with it. What about you, Byrne? What do you feel about this?
I'm pretty sure that the same thing as everyone else. Arena Brawlers are not really a bad game, but the thing is that we are fed up with them. It's the only kind of games that has been released in regarding anime fighters games, and it just becomes boring after a while. I mean, Naruto Ultimate Storm, okay, but 1 is fine. 2, okay, maybe an update. 3, 4, and then just like update after update after update. It's like, I don't like it anymore, you know? Even with the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi games, I think that's the main thing that they had. Just like the fact that it was 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. Like, not so many games, and you had so much to enjoy with them. But if they started just like flowing the market with just like, oh, Budokai Tenkaichi 2, 2 plus, 3, 3 Storm, 3 Ultra, anything, just like game after game after game, it starts feeling boring, and that's an issue with like fighting games. You need to be able to not overflow the whole thing, because people are gonna get bored, and I think that's the main reason why people decide to dunk a lot on the Naruto Storm series, because they are tired of them. And I mean, I think we can talk. I think I can generalize in here. We are tired of those games. So the arena brawlers do have a place in the fighting game scene, yes, but we need a rest from them. We need to just like have a little bit of a breather from them, and then in a couple of years bring a new one and be like, okay, that's good. But after like taking a rest from them.
What about you, Andre? How do you feel about this question?
The fighters.
Yep.
Honestly, this is my biggest gripe with them. I think the problem with them is that when Storm got really popular, a lot of anime fighters they sort of took like Storm's they took the template, but they didn't like update or improve upon it. And I think that's kind of why a lot of these games just feel like really samey after a while. Like I'll be honest, I was just getting real I just really don't enjoy it. Like arena brawlers as much anymore because they're just really simplistic and they don't really do anything interesting. Like that JJK fighter that's coming out next year, up against like Tekken 8. Good luck with that, and also new Under Night because Tekken and Under Night are games like Tekken both series have there's more depth to them, but also the mechanics got better and better. Where Storm, I like remove stuff and it never really. I think the closest it got to being maybe deep was connections, but even then, like I said, they made that game it's easy with like the auto battle assist. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Justin, you have any opinions on this or no?
I mean, I'm gonna be different when I say that I like anime arena brawlers. I must have been really out of the loop when people got tired of them because I hadn't really heard much about it at all. Now, when it comes to Ninja Storm, I've personally found it as usually the best way to get an abridged recap of the anime without having all of the goddamn filler, because that was always the biggest fucking weakness of that damn show. Naruto was just you want to know what the hell's going on, but it'll be like ages and ages and ages before you actually get to the next story-driven episode because they gotta fill it in because Kishimoto's ass was taking his sweet time, and that's all fine and good for mangaka. Take time, but directors of the anime are just like, oh no, we gotta pump it out. I gotta get the money, you know. I don't know why I made him sound like Vince McMahon.
Oh, you mean the
So
scene now?
in that
Oh, fuck.
in that regard, I found it something pretty good, and the gameplay was always fine enough for me. Now, if y'all want to really dunk on a Ninja Storm game, dunk on the newest one because fucking Bamco got caught in 4K for that one. You can dunk on that one all you want. That one's fine because Bamco just fucking lied.
Yep.
Hey, Bamco, did that wake you up?
Oh God, I hate
Are you
you.
talking about because of the AI thing for certain scenes?
I hate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
again, like I said, if you want to dunk on that one, be my guest because Bamco got caught live in 4K.
Yeah, they did, and it's
Fucking
some of the
assholes.
most terrible voices you will ever hear.
Oh, hey,
Holy shit.
you
Like,
know, that's
I made
that's
for the
not going to be
theater.
the
I
only
know a
game.
bad performance when I see one.
Hey, but you know what? That's not going to be the only game using AI. Thank you, a certain movement that approve, you know, that deal.
SAG? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. What was the movement for again? To stop against these AIs?
To stop against
complete
AI,
lie.
but
What a complete lie.
now they're
But go
for it.
on.
So yeah, that's
They're-
just sort of, you know, you accept what you're
Ratings are
fighting
gonna
against.
sag, that's for
Holy
sure.
shit. Oh man.
I
But
feel bad for the voice actors, honestly.
Yeah.
But why? Even Kira Buckland even stated that this is ruining the voice acting community.
if dub watchers wonder why there's barely any dubs now, there you fucking go.
Japanese
I-
subs, only way now.
I also I've enjoyed playing my time with Xenoverse. I don't know if my ass was zoned out, but I'm surprised no one brought up that one. Like,
Oh yeah,
Xenoverse.
Xenoverse is fucking hype. I love Xenoverse, dude.
Like that one always did the best, like one of the best jobs in feeling like you're actually in the show, like in 3D space, obviously.
Now, can we get a
Fighters
third
on
game?
its own does a good job on all fronts, but in terms of just like feeling like you're in the show, you are whatever the hell you could be. Xenoverse, well, especially 2. Xenoverse 2 is just like it's like the modern day Street Fighter 2 where it just keeps updating and updating, except it does it with DLCs rather than whole new games.
They'll never stop.
Yeah, where's my
I
Xenoverse
mean-
3 next gen? Let's go.
I mean, hey, if it was not broke, don't fix it, in my honest opinion, because That's the best way to do it. It's like if you have a freaking winning formula there, just keep adding to it. They'll keep buying, and it's done them pretty well.
One of the few anime games that had a successful games as a service. I can't believe it.
Release at least put a PS5 version.
But it was
Get
fun.
ready.
That's why.
Yeah, it is very fun, but it is very rare too because you don't see it that often.
How long has Xenoverse been going on lately?
But
How long
more than a decade. At this point.
Shit.
2 was like 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, more than almost a decade then. Almost a decade, and that game is still going with all this DLC.
You know
Holy
what?
shit.
You know what? Props to them because you rarely see like success stories like that, especially for games as a service, because a lot of them right now are failing. So there
And
you
here's the
have it.
crazy part: that
That's
game is
true.
not even live service. They just keep pumping out DLCs because
Yeah.
people, buy them, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, if people buy it, it's like you rarely just see that formula replicated. So
I mean,
you know,
you see how much people bought normal Android 21 for both Xenoverse and Fighters. Oh yeah,
probably a lot of them.
money talks, my friend.
Money talks
God,
and
yeah.
sex sells.
All right, but I think we are wrapped up with this one. So we're gonna move on to the next question, which is Arc System Works. So this company, a lot of people have some interesting opinions on them, and they are mostly the ones that are doing a lot of the anime 2D fighters out there. What is your opinion on this company personally? And I'll go with Kaneki.
My personal opinion on the company is I don't have too much bad blood on them. I think they make incredible 2D anime fighters throughout the years they've been in the fighting game industry, such as Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Dragon Ball Fighter, since they developed that game. But obviously Bamco got the published rights since it's Dragon Ball. And Grand Blue, of course, the recent Grand Blue. Ironic enough, I like the new Grand Blue than the old Grand Blue, probably because they updated the mechanics. It felt more like a Super Turbo than anything. But for my personal opinion on them, they have done mostly a good job.
What about you, Andre?
Arc System Works.
Yeah.
I like Arc System Works. I think they've made consistently really good fighting games. I've enjoyed like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, and also I did like Grand Blue. The Grand Blue fighting game was pretty fun, but I did really like a lot of what they've done. Not much really to say on that.
What about you, Justin?
And again, nothing really wrong with Arc System Works at all. They have made quite a name for themselves with all these anime 2D fighters. And every time their name is attached to a fighting game, you see people just like freaking go with the eyes wide or stand up from their chair, and they're like, "Ayo, this shit gonna be good." Like, how many companies do you know of that someone could see their name attached to a project, especially a fighting game, and then almost everyone will collectively just smack their desk, stand up from their chair, and just be like, "Ayo."
And the rare few is either probably them, Capcom. You could also look at mostly Harada with Tekken. When that man announces something, the hype goes through the roof, man. I'm telling you.
and he'll freaking make a clown of you on Twitter if you think otherwise.
Yeah, but I also think some people deserve it because they bother Harada too much, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, no, easily. I've seen some of the tweets.
Agreed.
But yeah, I have nothing wrong with Arc System Works in the slightest. In fact, I say may they keep going and prosper, because as long as those fuckers are given the time to do what they do best, they can pump out some real good shit. So I say keep going.
Okay. Ronan, what about you? How do you feel about ArcSys?
I love ArcSys. I'm a huge fan of them, and I would say this though: I have no nothing negative I can say about them is, and I agree with Justin on here. It says like anything you see with Arc System work, you going, hey yo, what? We're doing this? We're doing this? Let's go. And first of all, I actually want to say this myself. Arc System works. Can you do Bleach versus Naruto?
Yeah, that's the main request.
Like that's like it's either that or Blaze Blue versus Guilty Gear. I mean, Blaze Blue cross Guilty Gear.
Oh man, that'd be so fucking cool.
That would be amazing. Or better yet, why don't you make a better version of Jump Force? Or just call it Jump. Yeah, seriously, that's the 3 games I would love. Love a all jump fighting game just featuring the characters from featuring characters from Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, One Piece, Hitman Reborn, D Gray Man, Saint Seiya, One Piece.
Jump Force, the good edition.
Oh man, that's literally what people. I have a feeling people call it that shit too. The good edition, because we got the bad edition right now.
I know. And I would say this though, so yeah, I have nothing negative to say about Arc System. Just keep doing what you're doing, and just give us Bleach versus Naruto.
I don't have too much to say on this one. I have played a couple of their beat 'em ups, and I have played a couple of their fighting games. Like I said, I've been playing Guilty Gear Strive like off and on, and you know, a lot of the previous Guilty Gear games. I kind of want to cross over into Blaze Blue and see how that is, dip my toe into there and sort of give my opinion on that. But for the most part, they make really great games. Also, correct me if wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. They are also the ones behind Fighter Z, right?
Yes.
Okay, that game, I actually
We developed the game.
I put in hours of time into that game. I don't know what it is, but at certain points I am very addicted to Fighter Z, so I have to just commend them for what they're doing so far. It's a great job. Keep it up 100%. Make sequels, make whatever you gotta need to get like most of these games out there, and I guess just make another Fighter Z 2. I take that like immediately, as well as more Guilty Gears. So I'm
GOP.
very easy to please in that regard. What about you, Burn? What do you think of Arxis?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the same thing as Justin. Arc Sys, they've been able to actually make a name for themselves. I'm pretty sure they have become a company that has been able to do what NetherRealm Studios has been able to do. The fact that NetherRealm games like Injustice, Mortal Kombat, just like games like that, you now have them as a category by themselves, just like a NetherRealm game. So I think that Arc System has been able to actually do the same thing, where they actually have like basically their own genre, where it's just like, oh, it's another Arc System game, but it's like once you know that, I mean, when you know about that, you know exactly what to expect from that kind of game. You know, you're just gonna have buttons for dashing, buttons for a spark, maybe just like a burst, maybe some specific kinds of inputs, because that's the kind of thing that they do. So Arc System definitely has done an amazing thing, and the fact that they are becoming like a monopoly of some kind, of some sort, with fighting games, I don't see that as a bad thing. Definitely, like they can actually take on so many franchises. I mean, they have done for so many years with Blast Blue, with Guilty Gear, recently with Dragon Ball Fighters. It appears that they might be working on the new Hunter x Hunter game. I'm pretty sure they worked on like some of the Under Night and Bird games, Melted Blood, Arcana Heart, DNF Duel, Grand Blue Fantasy. Like they have so many things now going for themselves that I mean, it's amazing what they do, and the fact that they can continue doing that.
Oh,
Yep,
I forgot
they
about
definitely
DNF
are on
Duel.
top.
Oh yeah.
If only that game wasn't trash.
I had fun with it a couple of ways.
I actually have a good time with DNF Duel. I just have a hard time finding someone to play with me.
I just heard that
Well,
game
here I
was
am,
just
buddy.
sort of just kind of dead, but
To me, it was their weakest game.
And that's an interesting thing, because even though it might be their like weakest game, it's still a pretty cool game. Like once you start seeing the
I
products that a
disagree.
company can make, That maybe. But it's differing opinions. But I just say that even when you can see like the weakest game that a company can do, and even then you see it and be like, even though it's the weakest, it's still a pretty cool game compared to like other ones. That speaks like wonders. Like you can say the same thing as an example of Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 2, people consider it like the weakest game of the whole franchise, mostly because it's not Snake, it's Raiden. And even then, it's a pretty amazing game. So that just speaks of how amazing everything else in that franchise is. And with Arc System is that if the end of Duel is like the weakest game, and even then it's an actually entertaining game of some sort, that just goes to tell you that everything else that they do is top tier.
What about you, Nero? What is your opinions on this? Nero?
They are in the middle.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I feel like honestly feel like Arxis is in the middle right now because if I go back to the PS2 era, anything that wasn't Guilty Gear, it was like crazy broken and like generally unenjoyable for most people. Like Sengoku Basara Cross or the Fist of the North Star game.
I remember those.
They still
remember
do
those.
tournaments for those.
Yeah, those games are just like insanely busted and messed up. But I
Listen.
feel like
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, I was gonna say, every character in fucking the Fist of the North Star game, everyone has like that one hit ultimate.
insta kills.
Yeah, insta kills.
I feel like that's what's missing from like recent Arxis games. It's like when Arxis first started, it's like if you had insta kills, it basically just ended the match. But it was like it costs a lot of meter, and it's like a really slow startup. I kind of wish they brought that back, but you can combo into it. You know,
Kind of how like Central Fiction used to do.
yeah. And it's like they need. I feel like they had with Team Red and Team Blue. I feel like they should just make them like Team Red should be like the more hardcore type fighters, like Guilty Gear and stuff like that. Even though Team Red does make Guilty Gear, I feel like they should have more of a hardcore type of style to them. And I think Team Blue, they should have like a more easier style, so it won't mesh together. People will have choices on what game they want to play.
All right.
But
Oh, good.
I feel like if Arxis improves over the years, I feel like they'll be a really solid company. But they need to address several things in terms of like the rollback for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh,
Well,
I hate
and
it.
I feel like they need to communicate with the fans more about things like that because people have been waiting for a long time for that, and they were just getting frustrated and angry. And I feel like if they do proper communication and proper like updates and balance patches to their games, I think they'll be a really good company.
Give the rollback to
That
fighters.
is true because it took them how long to finally give us like a beta for at least for the PC version of Fighters rollback netcode, and it was actually from when I played the beta, it was really good. It's just why take so long to do that?
I think it's the rollback updates coming out sometime this year for fighters.
I guess maybe it's development issues, but hey, I just hope it comes soon because I don't want to get to a point where it's like barely any people are playing it and they implement it far too late. They
They
could
might as well
potentially
make a
happen.
sequel if they want to do rollback.
I mean, I'd be all for that. I take whatever I can get if they implement it like earlier, or if they just make like, hey, Fighters 2, here we go, we're doing this.
Look at Street Fighter. 5 didn't have best rollback, but even they knew the concept was like, hey, when they was making 5, delay base was that's the thing of the past.
So we're gonna move on to the next question. And this question is question number 6. So there is a new Budokai Tenkaichi coming out. It's called Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. What is your wish list for characters that you want to see in this new game? And we're gonna start with Ronan first.
Oh boy, where do I even begin? Okay, first of all, one, I would love it, and this is probably a me thing, but I really want Time Patroller Trunks. As a wish list for me, I want Time Patroller Trunks because I want to have some heroes reps, like Dragon Ball Heroes reps, even though we don't talk about heroes. I really want to see Time Patroller Trunks, Goku Black, Black Frieza. Honestly, I actually do want to see some really cool hero stuff like Super Saiyan 3 Bardock or Breaker Bardock. Because Trunks and Bardock are my all-time favorite Dragon Ball characters. Jeez, there is what else is there? And hopefully we get a heroes storyline. Because back in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, they always developed them in saga. So I really wish we get a hero saga so we can play through some of the heroes. Just hopefully I can beat the ever living shit out of Hearts. Because I never liked that guy. Bootleg version of Omega Shenron and Madoru Chia.
Okay, let me see. God damn, there are so many. So obviously, all of the new transformations that we've seen in Super, we need to see them in this game. We already saw the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, just call it Super Saiyan Blue, but we've seen that. Characters I personally want are transformations. You know what? I do want to see Beast Gohan. I want to see him in here because it makes perfect sense after the superhero movie. So let's just have him from DBZ Superhero and or Dragon Ball Superhero and have him in this game. I also want to see Ultra Instinct Goku. He needs to be in.
Oh, he's gonna be there, guaranteed.
He guarantee will be in here, as well as even people from the super manga like Granola, or you have people like I forget his name, Moro. He can be like super cool and just put him in here, and that'd be like sweet if they do stuff like that where it feels not only are they adding the characters in from Z and Dragon Ball, but they're also updating Super and the Goku Blacks of the world, everything like that. So seeing their powers and how they translate to a 3D landscape is going to be very interesting, and that's all I want for my wish list, because once again, Tenkaichi 3 is still a crazy roster when you look back at it these days. So if they can at least implement almost most of that, I would be pretty happy. Nero, what about you? You got any picks for the new Tenkaichi? Any characters you want to see, transformations, etc.?
I would like to see some of the Gods of Destruction in the new Budokai Tenkaichi game. I feel like they're a great fit for the game. I'm not even gonna lie, and hopefully we'll be able to play through like the little manga chapter where you're Beerus and fighting like these Gods of Destructions. And also I definitely want to see Bardock, Super Saiyan 3 and 4. Definitely probably some what if transformations for like Cell, Golden Cell, or like Cell Blue, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I think they need to also experiment with. Do some what if transformations. They look cool for a reason in other criteria. Like I want to see the differing Super Saiyan 4s come back, Super Saiyan 4 Gohan and all that other stuff they tampered with, but it never really happened in any other media, even GT. So they could do something like that.
I vote for Super Saiyan 4 Vegito.
I that would be amazing. I need all these different transformations in here. You have no idea, man. But what about you, Justin? What do you want to see for Sparking Zero for a roster?
I mean, as much of a loaded question as it is.
It is very, very loaded.
Because honestly, you just want like the biggest roster possible for that kind of shit, especially after some of the shit we see in the past. I know. Well, I agree with you. UI Goku obviously needs to make it in, and I mean, I heard Black Frieza earlier, but if we're gonna have Black Frieza, then you gotta have Ultra Ego Vegeta, just to complete the trifecta on that one. I know people have their thoughts about the super manga and everything, but I mean, I think even this new Tenkaichi could turn something like that into something at least decent enough. And why not give us more what if scenarios? I always love when Dragon Ball games do that. Just all the what ifs you could see and just see all that shit come out. Like,
Well, yeah.
I go, I know it's a deep cut, but Budokai 1, that what if, that Cell Saga what if, what if you absorbed Krillin instead of 18 on accident? Anyone ever see that?
I love that. Yeah, it was. I believe the mission was called A Cold-Blooded Assassin.
And made you have trouble against fucking Yamcha of all people.
Actually, hold on. If we're gonna bring them back, bring back the those fusions in Budokai 2? Like Yamcha and Tien fuse, Goku and Hercule fuse.
Oh my god.
Goku
Yeah.
and
Goku.
Tien-chan.
Tien-chan.
Fucking why not?
And then Super Buu absorb few characters. How about more than that this time?
And if we're gonna have Beast Gohan, where's my Orange Piccolo? How about Cell Max?
I wouldn't mind Cell Max. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Or hell, imagine what if a perfect Cell Max, make it even more extra credit.
Ooh, that would be interesting to watch.
Just a brief, what if that freaking experiment got even further than we saw it in Superhero? And that already gave them enough trouble in his second form. Imagine perfect Cell Max.
Also, it works perfectly because I mean, I believe the Budokai Tenkaichi games, they had distinctive missions where you could do what if stories. So there you go.
Budokai loved its what if scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
It gave a whole lot of life into the usual same old story you see in every new Dragon Ball fighting game.
Just give
I like it when they do that because they could come again, like with the freaking cells over Krillin. They can come up with some hokey shit, and I love it when they do.
Just give me future Gohan with actually one arm, so I can just body everything.
With one arm.
Battle somebody with a handicap.
Yeah. That'd be the ultimate way of beating your opponent. It's like, look, I am handicapped, but I can still kick your ass. So there you go.
Yeah, he's got one arm, but his moves are just that much more powerful to compensate.
Yeah.
I don't need hands to beat your ass, boy.
Also, I want to add this. To my wish list, but can we get DBS Broly?
Dude,
Please?
yes, please.
Can we get DBS Broly? Because I would love to see, Black Frieza versus DBS Broly when he's raging out and just ragdolls Frieza.
And he finally got the N-word pass.
Broly, look! FGCB wildin'!
Dude, that was a freaking massacre in the movie. He's like, Broly, look, and then he just came down and he started beating his ass. I was like, oh, okay.
just Frieza literally feels like now realize what Loki feels like when he got bodied by Hulk.
I've been beaten up like this for 60 minutes.
Yes, hello. I do not want this monkey to be staying next to me.
You've got to be just joking.
Who are you calling monkey?
Oh,
dear God. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
As we finish talking about the gross Saiyans, Burn, it is your turn on this question. How do you feel about it?
I'm excited. I said it. I'm from Mexico, so anything that is Dragon Ball related, it's just an amazing new. And honestly, I mean, there's a lot of potential for so many characters. I mean, even only adding some of the Dragon Ball Super characters would be like more than enough. Like imagine if you were able to actually replicate the Universe Survival Tournament within the game, just like being able to use Jiren, Topo, Caulifla, Kefla in general, just like all of those new characters, they have a lot of potential. I'm pretty sure that I think in Mexico they actually made a version, just like a fan game that is like a modification of Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3. They call it unofficially number 4, and it had so many of those characters. I think they actually just like added Jiren like maybe 2 years ago and something like that. So there's a lot. Just like the fact that they bring so many of the characters from Budokai Tenkaichi 3 back is, for me, will be more than enough. But seeing how many new things they have gotten with Dragon Ball recently, honestly, just like seeing Samasu, Black Goku, Golden Frieza, Neo transformation for Frieza will be definitely amazing. A lot of the things that they have been doing for Dragon Ball Fighters will be cool. So, as you guys said, having Dragon Ball Super Broly here, that would be just like sick. Imagine being able, as the same thing with Dragon Ball Fighters, you can put original Broly versus Dragon Ball Super Broly 1-to-1. That would be sick.
Vic Mignogna versus Johnny Umbosh. The
Dude.
ultimate battle.
Basically.
It'd be like Kakarot, and then it's just the other one that's just like screaming, losing his mind. So it's just like
Kakarot. Yeah.
it's so good.
One is not even able to like say comprehensive words, just like, and the other's like, what is he talking about? What is this man uttering these kinds of words?
He's speaking.
There's a huge difference.
He's speaking Kate Boo language. Yeah.
But Nero, I'm sure you have gone at this rate, or have you not?
Yeah, I've already gone.
Okay, so Andre, do you still have anything to chime in, or you prefer to skip this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this one.
Okay, okay, cool. So we're gonna move on to question number 7, and is how do you feel about the 2D Dragon Ball Budokai games? So this is like the non Tenkaichi games, the 2D ones that came out. It was the first one, second one, and the third one. So what do you feel about them? First, we will go with Burn.
The Mexican guy goes first, obviously. No, it's just kidding. The original Budokai games were so fun. I also remember just like having so many hours with them with my friends. Mostly Budokai 3. And I mean, I was always confused between the Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi games, but all of the things that you were able to do in the Budokai games, even though they were a little bit more simpler because they were 2D fighting instead of 3D fighting like Tenkaichi games, but they had so many things that you could do. The scenarios always look pretty cool. Those PlayStation 2 graphics always on top. So the 2D Budokai games, I'm pretty sure they are just like top. If you ask anyone from here from Mexico, I'm mentioning Mexico a lot. I want to bring more attention to Mexico. But if you ask anyone who has played fighting games here in Mexico, and if you ask them if they played any of the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, they would probably say yes. I remember them. They were so fun. And those were actually some of the first fighting games that many people will probably have that original mindset of just like mashing buttons and then doing like a super attack and being like, how did you do that? And just like all of the friends just like catching on me, just like, wait, he was able to do the Kamehameha. How did you do that? I don't know. And then just like the group effort to discover how to actually do it, when I mean you could actually just like look at the combo list, but it was just like kids having fun, and that's a nice memory that I have with the Budokai games. So those games are definitely really cool. I would love to have like a new version of those, but Budokai Tenkaichi 4, I mean that's good enough.
What about you, Kaneki?
How do I feel about the 2D Dragon Ball Z Budokai games? Well, at first they were hard to learn, because let me tell you, PPKG, oh, yeah, that's like one of the only moves you could do for like Kamehamehas and Masenkos, and oh boy, you're really in for a rough way of learning to play those games. But otherwise, I don't mind it too much. I'm more familiar with Dragon Ball Budokai Infinite World, which is literally the sequel to Budokai 3. It's basically Budokai 3, but except more maps and more characters. And I felt like the feel to it was better than compared to the other Budokai series. I mean, the Budokai games, not the Budokai Tenkaichi.
Well, I don't. My sort of stint on these games were very brief. I remember my brother had a Budokai Tenkaichi, and he also had the 2D Budokai games. And it felt like I was kind of, you know that feeling you get when you play fighting games and your muscle memory is like kind of shot when you go between like two titles. That's kind of how it felt, because you had this one game that was this big 3D arena brawler, and then you had the other where it's like, okay, we are back to 2D basics. How do we fly around is a little bit confusing, but I liked the game when I played Budokai 3, but I just did not grasp all of its systems. But I found it interesting, like how if you hit somebody and they fly out, sometimes you gotta like press a button prompt in order to chase them and do like devastating moves. And I was like, how do I do like all of this and prompt all of this? And then I seen people go KO Ken, and that was amazing. I've seen like people do a bunch of crazy shit in that game. So what it made me want to do was go back to those because I found them really interesting. Maybe I'll do like more IES tournaments of those games in the future. Guaranteed, like last time I played these games, I got my ass kicked. So that's probably the big experience of going into a title like this. It was fun for what it was. And I remember the first time I got introduced into the regular 2D Budokais, it was actually an X-Play review where I believe they reviewed the first one. And it was on Toonami, and no, not on Toonami, but I think it was just on. Actually, they had a Toonami review of that game, so I got introduced to it twice actually. And I was like, holy
watch their reviews than X plays.
yeah, because X-Play is like super critical and all this other stuff. Whereas like Toonami, you got Tom and he's pretty chill and he talks about like the game and breaks it down. So I'm like, okay, since I saw that there, I thought that was like pretty interesting how they were doing the mechanics. And also it felt like for the first time that was the Dragon Ball story that had like the voice acting, the English dub. You saw the Raditz saga where of course Goku dies, and they were enacting that in game form. So that also like drew me to the appeal of those games with some of the story mode concepts they had with it. So I liked it for what it was, but I need to delve a little bit more into them. But interesting ideas all around. Next up is Justin. What do you think about 2D Budokai?
Oh, I love 2D Budokai. As I did mention earlier, I have the most memories with the first game.
Mhm.
And well, I got that as I think it was a gift actually, because I remember playing it. I think it was another family member's house, and I wonder what the hell is this. And then later on, I got it as a gift, and I spent an unhealthy amount of hours into that fucking game. Part of it was also just those goddamn capsules, because I'm like, I want this cool thing, but how come I'm not getting it? And Lord help you if you go for those freaking Dragon Balls. Because I swear those shits were random, but I digress. Like those games will always be goated for some of the shit that they did in the groundwork that they laid out for future Dragon Ball fighting games, and just giving a lot of people their start in enjoying Dragon Ball. And again, it needs no introduction, but the soundtrack to the first game still remains one of the best fucking things I've ever heard in my entire life. So, and this was, and a lot of this was before YouTube. So if you wanted to listen to some of this music, you had to freaking boot your goddamn game up and go to one of the stages, or go to a cutscene in the story mode to listen to the music.
Oh, you mean the Nintendo still force you to do because they don't know what why technology is.
Well, no, thankfully nowadays my ass could just look up Budokai 1 cutscenes and oh, perfect, a compilation right here of Budokai OST. Oh, my ears are gonna be thanking me tonight. Oh, baby.
Oh baby, oh baby.
Oh,
Rocco.
yeah.
Well, Andre.
No, but
Oh, go
these games, like you can easily go back to something like, I mean, mainly 3, because I mean, I think a lot of people agree in terms of like the 2D Budokai, like 3 is pretty much as good as it was going to get until Fighters happened.
Yeah, I don't. It's the best that we're gonna get at this rate, because until then it's like Fighters is taking the scene for like 2D. But Andre, do you have any sort of opinion on Dragon Ball Budokai and that series on the PS2? Did you have any experience?
I loved those games. Those games were awesome. Like it was a big part of my childhood. I think my favorite was probably the third one. Third game will always probably be my favorite, but there was really fun fighting games. It was at the time it was pretty cool because I was a big fan of Dragon Ball, and I was like, oh, they're doing a game, like a fighting game of it. And I was like, I think Dragon Ball would be perfect. And in a way, Budokai kind of led to Tekken Anshi, then like Burst Limit, the Raging Blast, and then Ultimate Tekken Anshi, and so forth. So yeah, but I really enjoy the games.
Ronan, what about you?
I would say I have, since I own all 3 of them, by the way, still do, and I still have great memories of these games when replaying them because they're part of my childhood. I believe it or not, I discovered it because my brother had it. My older brother, he had the games. Like he had Budokai 1 and 2. He never had the third one because he never played it. So I played the first one. I asked my mom. So story time. I asked my mom when I was like, I don't know, elementary. I wanted this game back in GameStop, and it was like, I don't know, around $13. And it was like, if you do well, and she told me, if you do well in school, you do your chores right, typical mom talk. I'll buy this for you for Christmas. I'm like, I did that, did this, and I was just enjoying myself. Like what Justin said, when you hear the music of it, it just hits you in an orgasm. It's just like, oh my god, this is so damn cool. But if I had to say personally, like favorite one, I had to say the third and second one, in my opinion, because I had to say this myself. It's really great. It's fun. It's exhilarating. It'll get you into Dragon Ball way faster than the anime would. And I would say this, yeah, it's really, really great. I say the 2D Dragon Ball games, the Budokai ones, are really fun to play. Also, if you really tell me, if you struggle during the Piccolo mission, you are a real fan.
I guess it must
Having to
have been hard.
fucking rotate your damn control stick.
Oh man.
Charging up your key and make sure you get hit by the special beam cannon.
How about do that when you're in the actual clash? Kamehameha versus Gallic Gun.
Dude,
Okay, I actually broke controllers doing that.
I did as well. It's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Like,
They need
what
to bring
controls do
that
they
back.
have in the fucking QA department? Because, like, my fucking palm.
It hurts.
Yeah, I broke like 2 PS2 controllers due to that. So I'm like, oh yeah, great job back there. I was like, god damn, dude. Even doing that like clash mechanic in Budokai Tenkaichi when they did the controller like shifting, like I got like some dead zone on that when I did that like the 3rd time. So I'm like, holy shit. But Nero, how about you? What do you think of these Budokai 2D games?
I think that these Budokai games are actually really in depth and really interesting. Budokai 1, they were just getting started, but from Budokai 2 and 3, that's when it really started hitting the fan for me. When I learned about combo cancels, you can use like certain strings. If you hold certain strings and you press the block button, you can continue them. You will have stuns and like key stuns that can extend and continue the combo. Though when I learned about that stuff, it was pretty entertaining.
Oh,
And once I learned about Touch of Death combos and Budokai 3, it once I learned about Touch of Death and Budokai 3 and Infinite World, I feel like it would be scary to actually get hit by that stuff. Hold on.
And the family is getting a Kamehameha in the background. As we wait for him to return, like any other sort of memories that you guys have about these Budokai games that will just never be lived down?
I can tell you one of mine, and it's really hilarious.
Good.
So me and my, we're having a family function. It's like Thanksgiving, and I bring my PS2 with me, and we all have this fighting game tournament with Ultimate Ninja, Naruto Ultimate Ninja, but we all play the Dragon Ball games, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1, 2, and 3. We all decided just like let's host a tournament. Anyone who wins gets like, I don't know, $10 each. $10 each from all family. So we all picked them. My brother, I always choose my boy Trunks because I was always good with him. And there's like, bro, how are you keep doing these special moves like Burning Attack and Finish Buster and Buster Cannon? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just that good. So, and I'm just beating up my siblings, my cousin, until my uncle appears. I'm like, and he just puts up $20 and they're like, put me on the stick. I'm like, oh no. Knowing my uncle is a tryhard when it comes to games. So he picks Nappa. And I tell you, I have never tried hard. That was my first time to try hard in an anime game I ever saw in my life. He almost came close to killing me until I literally used Burning Attack on him. And I'm like, how are you this good even though you never touched this game? I saw you play it.
I remember some dude getting beat at an anime game so bad he pulled his controller. I'm like, it's like, goddamn. Well,
did he like throw it against the wall?
No, that was the classic rage quit where he just pulled it out of the port, and I'm just like, dude, we got rage quitting at tournaments now. Holy shit.
Yo, that sounds like shit that happened at Smash tourneys.
Yeah.
Oh, Smash tourneys, they just break their controllers.
Or just throw them at you.
Oh, what was the tourney where some dude legit uninstalled the freaking game from the PlayStation?
Someone did that? I forgot what game. I know.
Oh, damn, what game was that?
Was it
I forgot someone did that.
Was it a fighting game?
Yeah, it was.
It was a fighting game, yeah.
Was it Mortal Kombat?
I hope it's I was gonna say I hope it's an NRS game because NRS dudes when they rage, they rage.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
It's rage quit city for those fuckers. I'm like, goddamn, dude. But Nero, since you're back, you wanted to finish your point?
I wanted to say that a lot of the Budokai games are super in depth, and once I learned more about the combo system, they had a lot of touch of deaths, a lot of infinites. It's like Goku. I know that Goku was a consistent like high tier character. Yamcha was surprisingly top tier in Infinite World or Budokai 3 because one of his normals, his forward punch, was actually it beat out a lot of the characters' normals. I know that Android 18 has like an infinite in the air. From Budokai 3 to Infinite World, they made the combo system a hell of a lot easier to combo into like ultimate attacks. And with transformations, you can use them offensively and defensively. You can use them offensively to continuously juggle your opponent and add more damage to it. And you can use it defensively for like guard breaks. So when you're pressuring somebody, you can just go for example, Goku. You can cancel his string into like Kaioken, and your opponent will be guard broken, and you can combo them to death with like the Dragon Fist Infinite. A lot of that stuff at high tier was just really, really, really busted. And I wish they would bring back that type of gameplay to a new generation. Then a lot of people complain about it.
Yep, I 100% agree. All right, so this next question is going to be a little bit altered because we kind of talked about which animes we would like to see come back into video game format for one of the last questions, but I have an interesting one for this one. So now, when it comes to like just making your own dream 2D anime game, and the basis is like we're using a 3D game converted to 2D, what would you like to see? And I guess I'll use myself first as an example. So okay, now we know they made a 2D Virtua Fighter before in the past, but it wasn't that great. So if they convert it from 3D back to 2D again, and they use a style or a game that I was interested in, then I would use Virtua Fighter being done by a great studio. I think just having that animated in the way the moves like would look, and how cool it would be, that would be amazing if they convert that from 3D to 2D. If there's anything else I could think of that is like a special request, I know people have been saying this for years, but since Capcom has not been doing like any Marvel versus Capcom games whatsoever, and it's just been like impossible for them to do so, we wanted them to do a fighting game with their in-house characters to compensate for the longest. So why not just make a Capcom All Stars that's like 2D, and you could put in your Resident Evils, your Devil May Cry characters, you could put in God Hand, Dragon's Dogma people, or created characters, Monster Hunter people, and have them all mashed together in one big fighting game. And you could make some crossovers. I don't know, maybe like you could put in some SNK characters if you want, if that bad blood still isn't there, but it probably is. Just do something special with it, to where they don't just have to rely on Marvel to use a license like that. I think that would be a very cool idea. I guess, just to backtrack a little bit, they're cool with Namco, so you'll probably see some Tekken characters pop up for sure. And I guess that's one of the only ways we're gonna get Tekken X Street Fighter, but I digress. So they should do something like that, to that effect. And I think it'd be really nice to see more Capcom in-house characters fight each other in a 2D plane. If I had one more game, you know what? Fuck, let me see. From 3D to 2D. I'm gonna say MK. I think that'd be kind of cool to see like MK as like, a full-on hand sprite drawn like game where they just have all the characters like all like, not like old MKs where it's just like the sort of 3D body model. I'm talking about like just hand drawn. I think that'd be kind of cool to see Liu Kang doing his dragon fireball, and of course the anime fatalities, which, imagine that in motion. That'd be pretty sick, man. I would love something like that. So those are my answers for now. I'm going to have Kaneki go next.
Which anime IP would benefit from monetization? Maybe One Piece.
Actually, no, the question was changed, so it's kind of like, if there is a pre-existing like fighting game that's like 3D, what would you like to see if they actually converted that to 2D?
Like an already existing IP?
Yeah.
Can we bring back Street Fighter to 2D? Like the Alpha series? That would be nice.
That'd be nice. I like their strike style. That was pretty fucking cool, man.
I would like to see those crisp animations again. Like, imagine the new characters like Jamie and Luke in Alpha animation, or even Third Strike animation.
You got any more, or is that it for now?
Bring KOF back to 2D.
I also
I'm trying to think what else. I would say no. I was gonna say Tekken, but no. Only Tekken works in 3D only. It would not work in the 2D atmosphere. Yeah, that's all I got.
What about you, Burn? You have any opinions on this?
So I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of IPs that will benefit from that, and I think, I mean, the Senseiya games, I always like them and all that, and I will definitely like to see them done with like a 2D sprite kind of game. I mean, if I remember correctly, all of the Senseiya fighting games have always been 3D, so I will actually like to see those games done in a 2D way. Even if they are done by art systems, that will be hella good. There are so many franchises that guess will benefit from just like a 2D space, a 2D fighting game like that. Like imagine, for example, a Last Airbender game, fighting game.
Oh,
It will benefit. It will offer a lot.
you know that's
Yeah.
cool. Like if you think outside the wheelhouse, like is there any IPs in general that you would turn into a fighting game to turn it into 2D?
Exactly. Like there are so many ones that I think that might even work. I mean, I'm mentioning just like the Last Airbender as a simple one. But there can be so many animes, mangas, comics that can have that specific thing. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see a fighting game with Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm pretty sure that it will bring a lot of things. Even in that case, Full Metal Alchemist will definitely work as a 3D fighting game in that case. But it's definitely offering a lot in that case. There are so many IPs that could work with that. And in the case of just like games that we know right now, same thing. I'm pretty sure like the ones that we have right now are on a great style. But Street Fighter 6, I mean, I'm not against the 3D models, but I would like to see again the old sprites. Like I was playing some Third Strike with some friends a couple of days ago, and I was looking at all of the animations and all of the characters, and I was like in literal awe, just like thinking about that whole thing being just like, how are these characters so well animated? It's simply amazing. Marvel vs. Capcom will definitely, I will definitely love that one being brought back in a sprite work again, because Capcom does used to do some of the best sprite work in video games years ago, and I think there's no doubt in that. So just the fact that so many of those sprites are now basically like lost or are never going to be used again, it's sad because their sprite work, for example, for Jill Valentine, they did an amazing sprite for Jill and never used it again. Like what the hell? They need more of that, and they could bring that same thing to so many other characters and everything. Like I would like to see, I don't know, a Rashid in a 2D sprite style, or maybe just like a cell shaded style, just like Dragon Ball Fighters. A lot of games, Killer Instinct. I will definitely love to see more of that, even if it's in 2D graphics again. I mean, I know the original ones were also just like 3D models, pre-rendered models, but I always wonder how it would look like as like true 2D. But yeah, those are some of my wish list.
If I bring like one more to the equation as an honorable mention, I'm gonna say Spawn, 2D fighter,
Hell yeah.
blood, gore, just that would work. If it played like just something like a more faster pace, like sort of Guilty Gear. I'm thinking of the older ones. Strive is like fresh on my brain, but something like that with just full on violence. Oh my god, that'd be so amazing, dude. We're gonna pass the torch to Andre. Is there any franchise that you think would benefit from being a 2D fighter?
Hey, franchise 2D fighter. Good question. Okay, honestly, Baki. I think Arc System Works doing a Baki game would be interesting, but have like the martial arts from like, I'd say like sort of like have the martial arts elements from Tekken, and I would love to see, and actually love to see Mortal Kombat like a cell shaded or cartoony style, similar to like Guilty Gear. That'd be pretty cool. Like I think it'd be different than like the real like the stylized realism from like the NRS games. That's really I guess about it. But yeah, but I think it would be but I think there's a lot you can do if you like experiment with like a style like Let's just say Tekken goes for like a Street Fighter style, completely for a spin-off, and Street Fighter goes for like a Tekken style. It's like two of the biggest rivals of fighting games. Do something different. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this question back to Kaneki for a bit since it evolved, but outside of like established fighting games, is there any other franchise that you would like to see become a 2D fighter?
I just said One Piece.
One Piece, okay. You got any more outside of that? I know someone said Chainsaw Man earlier, so I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I don't see that working.
Maybe something.
crossover.
That has to be a way.
Crossover, maybe crossover fighter. We talked about the good jump force that we wanted earlier, and I'm like, okay, that might work, but yeah.
Hell, why not bring back? I didn't want to mention this one later. I'm sorry to like get in, but the fighting game of the Power Rangers, like the new one, Battle for the Grid, that one is actually extremely fun. How about that for Kamen Rider or the original Super Sentai?
I was gonna say something real stupid.
If only they wanna deal with the licensing.
That's the only issue.
I was gonna say something real stupid like Big Bad Beetleborgs, but you know, right? I feel like I'm one of the only people that sort of remember that, but
same thing around licensing.
I know.
That was a good show. That was actually a pretty entertaining show back then.
It was, but it's so damn weird. But Ronan, it's your turn. Is there any license that you would like to see turn from the license itself to some 2D property being done?
I would say one, definitely Bleach, because I would love to see that, and I would love to see that. I would agree with Brent himself. Saint Seiya. The other one is, I'm surprised no one has never brought up Ronani Kenshin.
Yeah, you're right about that. They have very interesting characters in swordplay, so that will look really good under a 2D space.
And Ronani. So Bleach, Ronani Kenshin, Hitman Reborn will be another one, because Hitman Reborn has a lot of characters a lot. Across a whole jump crossover game, that would be amazing. A 2D jump fighting game, like I can already see my team would be Aizen, Madara, and Doflamingo. I would say, again, Baki. Baki would be a really good one. And I'm not gonna say that shit. That was kind of stupid. I was gonna say Gungrade, but that works more as a third-person shooter. I would say, let's see. Yeah, some Mecha and some Gundam in there.
Transformers was earlier, like the crossover between those two.
Yeah. And I would love to see Yu Yu Hakusho. As long as they don't make it like Dark Tournaments, where it's literally Dark Souls, the fighting game.
Oh my god, dude! I wanted to like literally commit Sudoku when I got to Toguro. I was like, dude, I'm on this boss like forever now. This is taking way too long. But
I was gonna say, Ren, you are aware there are cheat codes in there, right?
I did not know that at the time. I was stubborn. I was kind of like, you know what? I don't want to cheat. I just want to beat this guy and see what I could do. So I literally like ate the hour, but it was ultimately I did beat him, so it wasn't really that bad.
I could agree with you. So yeah, that's all I could say. For right now, my top ones like onto my list are Hitman Reborn, Bleach, Ronani Kenshin, Fist of the North Star, Baki, and Saint Seiya.
Make another, well, I mean, it already is a fighting game, but it is in 3D. Make a 2D Sonic fighting game. Do it.
Please.
Just
I would
do
love
it.
that. Especially with the Archie comics guys. I would
A
love to
more
see,
proper one would do it better.
like seriously, I would love to see my boy Scourge beat the hell out of Sonic. What? Seriously, that's my boy right there. That's my all-time favorite Sonic character.
No, I just thought of that one like super on the fly. They could do something with those characters because it is quite a lot of them. But Justin, it is your turn. Is there anything you want them to convert to 2D fighting games at all?
Oh.
Say Final Fantasy, you know you want to.
You know what, actually? You know what? You bring that up, but that reminds me of a fucking joke video that Square fucking did a couple years back of like, what if 14 was a fucking fighting game and it had a decent amount of production values put into it. Like it looked pretty legit. So you know what? You got a good fucking point. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna say Final Fantasy. Not just like, that freaking joke video. No, just do it like that and just make it a freaking 2D fighter version of Dissidia. People fucking kill for that.
Oh, dude, I would get that
I
day
would
one.
kill for that. I would kill for that. Like my main team would be Sephiroth and that guy from 15. What was the main villain from him? What was the name? The one with the fedora?
Arden.
Just
Martin, yeah.
make it 2D Dissidia. Add more how about more representation from each game instead of just one like per? Like, come on.
Yeah, I go with that.
Like, I mean, you got a laundry list of characters here. You could stand to add a few more, and I obviously know that, like, say probably 14 and 16 probably get a freaking lot of suggestions on its own, but even still, I still wouldn't like if it meant like a bigger roster, like with more variety in terms of gameplay styles. I'm all for it. Especially when in like say 14, you have people who actually fight like fist to fist. So what the hell, guys? It's right there.
Just give me Noctis and give me Clive, and it is a wrap.
Give me
Oh
Cloud.
man.
Give me Cloud, Sephiroth, and Noctis, and we're all good.
I'd be fine with that. I like Sephiroth a lot, so I think he'd be great for a fighting game.
I would be OP because he's literally a god in that game.
Yeah.
Hey, he was already in Smash, so might as well put him in there as well.
But has anyone else went before we move on to the next question?
I haven't really said my piece.
Go ahead.
I feel like there should be a Samurai Deeper Kyo game. They have one on the PS1, but they never made a proper 2D game with it.
I felt like I've heard that name before. I'm going to look that up right now. Samurai Deeper Kyo. I've probably already seen it before, but it's just been like forever. I would also say shit. It doesn't have a lot of characters, but I kind of like this anime called Kikaider, where this guy's running around and he's like a sort of, what is it, an android. If they had more characters, it'd be cool because I always like the design of him in red and blue, but it's so many ideas you can actually think of. I think also, I know they're not gonna fucking do it, but I would like an all Marvel style 2D game, and you could play your favorite characters. But since they're strangle holding that license, I just doubt it. Or even
so you
DC.
Want to go back to MVC 1 and 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch my answer. I'm gonna say DC because they might be a little bit more lenient to do original idea like that.
As long as I can play Superman, Deathstroke, and John Constantine, we're all good.
Oh, absolutely. Those would be my mains 100%. And Batman, because I mained him in Injustice.
Oh, and Lucifer.
A lot of people did.
Yo. Just old people with them.
And also Lucifer Morningstar.
Yes. All right, so... Oh, good.
I would like to add a Kengan Ashura 2D game.
Dude! Oh,
Kengan Ashura? Man, that would be amazing.
Or you could do a Kengan Baki cross fighting game.
Look, just do some sort of Ashura's Wrath follow-up. I don't care what it is. I fucking take it. it's so many ideas, and it's just like if they just pull it in and make it original, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. But we're gonna move to the final question. This is kind of a long one, but bear with me. So one thing a lot of people say about anime fighters is that the attention dies out for them in terms of like their online longevity. What would you do to solve this problem? Would you have more season passes, crossovers like 2B and Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, or would you license more popular IPs into the 3D space like we talked about earlier, like franchise IPs like, I don't know, DC or something like that, or them doing more popular anime licensing? What would keep that mainstream attention in your opinion? How would you fix it? And the first one we're gonna go with is Kaneki.
Hold on, what was the question again?
So since, like, how anime fighters, they tend to, it depends on how popular they are, and they tend to die out on popularity more. What would you do to keep them alive? Would you do crossovers, more DLC? What is the underlying problem with some of these anime fighters where they die out immediately for retention?
Crossover could be one way to solve it. I don't know. Maybe they could follow like Guilty Gear Strive's way, and maybe have a system where casuals and hardcore players can follow and easily like play, so that they don't have to like struggle when playing like an anime fighter, and have a lot of content.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off that and agree. I think one thing they could do is more content, more crossovers. So I mean, dude, when 2B was fucking announced for Grand Blue, everyone just blew up for some reason. Like the whole Twitter just got like blown the fuck up because she was in that game. So they could possibly do more stuff like that that would keep the finger on the pulse, I guess, and keep things like trending, as well as, again, crossovers, your typical stuff, more content, actually ensuring that the game is 100% not broken, updated all the time, because the problem I have now with like some fighting games these days where they give you a balance patch and everything is completely busted and destroyed. So I would prefer them to just watch out for certain loops, infinites, touch of deaths. I see that turns people off if they play a fighting game and it's just like you get touched, you're dead. For especially 2D anime fighters, so dial back on that a little bit, give people a chance, and make some sort of healthy middle ground, just like Strive. That's the best solution I think I could offer before the game starts dying out. Also, promotion. A lot of companies need to keep this in mind. Promote, promote, promote. You got to make sure that game is everywhere at this rate. And if it's not, because I had many instances where I was looking for a certain new release or anime game and I didn't see it anywhere. So promoting is also a big part of keeping these games alive as well. Events, tournaments, making your own Discord, and having people come in there and fight, prize pools if you want to do that, so someone gets their ass whooped for like $500. You could just put that out there and I'm pretty sure people will show up. So that's about it. Just attention is the main thing they should do a lot more than usual. Nero, what about you? Do you have any opinions on this? How should they keep some fighting games alive that sometimes will die in the anime space?
Like they need to make the gameplay more in depth, because that's what sometimes I feel like that kills a lot of like extended play, because a lot of the gameplay is just like ABC 1 2 3 simple, and I feel like a lot of people need more depth, which is like a really hard part to balance, because they want to bring new people into fighting games, yet they have to make sure that veterans have some sort of fun with it.
Yep, because I mean, as much as we talk about it, FGC people are also going to keep that game running finger on the pulse, so it needs to be at events like Evo and stuff like that. What about you, Ronan? What do you feel on this topic? How do they keep certain anime games from dying?
I would say, like you said, promote and more tournaments being played out more, because more anime fighting games need to be have more, like, more promotion. And this is just for me only, or if you're a story guy, if you're a story type of guy, more story expansions a little bit, because if you have a really good story for the anime fighting game, and have more fights and add some fights into it, cinematic fights into it, it'll make it more interesting. And having a story expansion like a part two, or what if, or I'm trying to think, yeah, another like a what if or part two, it would do that more, and more Evo matches, because last time, does anyone remember how? Okay, I'm not trying to bring this up. Does anyone remember how Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was dying because no one kept playing it?
Yeah, I kind of do actually.
Yeah, just don't make it like that. Like, just make it like, this is our game. This is our game. Our DLC. Fuck off. Go. Fuck off. Buy our game. Don't do that. That's not how you promote your game. Make sure your game is well liked. Make sure there's community around it. Make sure there's a really good storyline. It could be hit or miss. Some characters that everyone wants to see, like the 2B situation, and just make sure your game is very, very programmed well, and just well respected in the community. Kind of like how Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was one of the most well respected fighting games of the century, and now it's being replaced with some like a Tekken game, or Street Fighter 6 or anything like that. So I say myself is, keep yourself pace, promote, make sure you have little tournaments, and just don't let the game die. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Just don't let the game die, and just make sure you have enough content to keep them going, like a team a team of online mode, kind of like you and a friend go online, just beat people, kick everyone's asses and stuff like that. I would love to see that in a story expansion. That's what I would say.
What about you, Burn? How do you feel about this?
So I really think that those games, the most important thing is just like keeping them alive in some way. Granblue Fantasy versus Rising is doing it the right way, doing like collaborations. Like, for example, bringing 2B is a nice thing, and if they bring more characters, that would be really cool. But I feel that a lot of those games, they end up dying mostly because, yes, the hype ends up dying, but it's also because both the communities and the developers don't do more to bring like something more fun, or to like up the hype within the game. Like, for example, as I said, one of the best examples that I can bring is the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All Star Battle R game, because when it was first announced, people just thought, "Oh, it's a remaster of the game. Okay, that's cool. It's gonna be fun." And then they start bringing like new DLC characters and all that. It's like, oh, they're actually bringing it back. Like, they're adding new content. They're actually doing something so that the people can get excited about it and be like, "Yeah, I'm interested now." I think that's one of the most important things that, just not in general anime fighters, but just like fighting games in general, need to do. Just like keep up the hype some way, just like do more events, collaborations, even like seasonal events will help way too much with so many of those kinds of things, to just like keep the franchise alive and keep the people interested within the game, definitely. A 2D version of 3D game like Virtua Fighter, I don't know if that will work. I don't know if just like changing, just like switching up the game will work, but definitely just like licensing more popular IPs will probably work, even if either in 3D space or 2D space, or just like keeping the hype alive some way, just like maintaining the community, maintaining people interested within the game. And I think those are like the best things.
Andre, it is your turn. How do people keep finger on the pulse for fighting games? Andre? Going once, going twice. He is in space. All right. Justin, your turn until Andre gets back.
Back.
God damn it!
That was
Damn it.
world record high.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's fine, Justin. You can go next after him. But we were talking about keeping the finger on the pulse for anime fighters. What would you do to try to keep some of these things alive since they die out kind of quickly for certain IPs?
Okay, so two things. A lot of content. Let's see. Well, three things. A lot of content on the base release, so people can be invested. I'd say a lot of DLC characters, because like I said, when you put in Grand Blue, that got people more interested in the game, and like since we're getting like the upcoming Tekken 8, they could probably put in like a Yakuza character or like a Virtua Fighter character for like like season 2. Like season 1 could just be returning characters, maybe a new character, and so on and so forth. Like I think that actually does kind of work in the long run, because like if you look at like Street Fighter 5, for all the game's flaws, it did get better and better with like all the updates.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think yeah, and I think finally a lot of community support, like it gets a lot of tournaments and people play the game pretty frequently. But that's all I really gotta say about it. Really, just support the game a lot. Just do anything you can for it, like tournaments, just DLC. I know people won't like it, but theoretically, I think DLC does add more to a game's like lifespan. But that's just me.
And last but not least, Justin, how should they keep their finger on the pulse for any anime games that has like a low retention? What should they do to revitalize it, in your opinion?
Mainly just take notes from Xenoverse 2 at that point, considering how long that game's been going on.
Oh yeah.
Like Andre just mentioned, have plenty of content in the base game. Oh god, I feel it's a lot of things developers fucking forget about nowadays. Yeah, please have a lot of content in the base game, because if people aren't invested at first, what's gonna make them invested later when you eventually start adding like DLC characters and shit? And yeah, have a steady flow of DLC characters. Don't just drop them all at once like fucking crazy. You gotta have like steady by steady, so that way you have it be not only affordable, like with a proper pass, but also just keep people coming back, keep people wondering, even help. Maybe keep the rest of the characters a mystery, just so that way more people are invested, kind of like how Smash did it back in the day.
Mhm.
And of course, one of the more important things, make sure the game's fun before anything, because why the fuck would I want to play a game that I don't like playing? Why would I want to buy any season pass or DLC pass or any other expansions for a fucking fighting game that wasn't fun to play?
In other words, don't be like Marvel Infinite.
And there you go. Be as Universe 2. Don't be a Marvel Infinite. There you go.
Yeah, don't be a Marvel Infinite or Jump Force. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
It's like just avoid those two problems and you'll be quite
much.
okay.
Yeah.
And hey, if you want to have a crossover, then fucking good, have a crossover. I know 2B and Grand Blue was mentioned before, but remember when 2B was added to Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur, yeah, I do.
Oh yeah. Also, Link was also added to Soul Calibur.
That's why people love the GameCube version the most.
The best part was like I don't even think we'll even get something like that again. I think the closest was when they did Kratos with MK9, but they did like Heihachi PS2, then Spawn Xbox, then Link for the GameCube, and it's like, oh well, you can get this version or that version. It's like, oh, so it's the best of any world, really. If you get this game, you get a great game and you get an exclusive character, so it's pretty cool.
If licensing were not a goddamn nightmare and a half, could you imagine like an all-in-one Soul Calibur 2 where it has all the guest characters in it?
Oh, that'd be so awesome. But it's never happening. It's never happened.
Also, fun fact, did you know that Kratos was also in Soul Calibur?
Yes, he's in Soul Calibur Broken Destiny.
Yes.
Yes, he was in the I think it's the PSP game.
Yeah, it is.
My friend just keeps talking about that one, be like, oh well, you know, Kratos was in this game. It's like, oh shit, really? It's like, I gotta check that out. But this was a really fun podcast, talking about, you know, 2D fighters. Definitely got to do it again, gentlemen, when it comes down to the future. So we're gonna start wrapping up and doing sign offs and plugging our social media. So Ronan, where can we find you on social media, good sir?
You can maybe find me on YouTube as Shadow Zero Devil Reaper, and on Twitter with the same name, but you know, VA. Shadow Zero Devil Reaper VA. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitter X, or whatever you want to whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't do YouTube anymore, so if you want to tag me in your channels, my name is Shadow Zero Devil Reaper on YouTube, so follow me there.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at rentoperative_. You can follow me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. I'm just gonna be probably like streaming a lot, so I'm not gonna be doing much pertinent outside of just streaming like a whole bunch. I'm gonna be uploading this to the Infinite Ammo Syndicate, so you can follow over there, of course, but you're probably listening on this channel as we speak. But yeah, just a bunch of uploads is coming your way, so once again, that's all in good fun. Next up is Nero. Where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch as King Nero Barrage.
Justin, what about you?
Find me on Twitter, formerly X, at Inferno Dragon 3D, and on Twitch and YouTube at Inferno Dragon 343.
Kaneki?
Twitter and YouTube under the same name as Guru War Order. That is the only way to follow me on social media these days.
What about you, Burn? Where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me in all the social media, or at least relevant ones: Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all of them. Just same as here, as Burn Aeon. That will be at Burn Aeon in the case of Twitter, and Twitch is simply Burn Aeon. Thank you so much.
And last but not least, Andre. Where can we find you on social media?
Find me at Twitter, Andre B Venom, and I'm also on YouTube as Andre Venomous B Andre. I'm gonna be probably streaming more this year. I'm gonna try to stream as much as I can. We do like full game walkthrough, full game playthroughs, but yeah, that's really about it.
And that is about it for this podcast. I'm pretty sure the next time you're going to hear from us is going to be sometime in, well, probably a little bit earlier, but March is the next Buster Wolf podcast, where we will be talking about Marvel versus Capcom. So that's going to be very entertaining, and you're going to be hearing from us. Marvel, baby. Yeah, it's Marvel,
time, baby. I'm taking to my fight stick. I'm taking to my hitbox. Oh, hell yeah, baby.
But you're gonna hear from us a little bit sooner, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some Tekken fun. That game is coming out at the tail end of this month. I will be buying it, so there's going to be some Tekken talks in the future for sure. So look forward to that. If the game is really hype, I'm gonna try to see if I can arrange a little conversation about that. But until then, we're signing out, and we will see you guys out there in YouTube land later. Take care of yourselves.
Hey guys.
Well.
Bye bye.
Where's the Heat the Soul 7 tournament?
Heat the Soul 7.
Okay.